All right. It's the Tone Bone and the T-Bone. We're back.
We're back.
As always. And I got a little PTSD from previously being married. You know, I had a dating life at some point before I was married. Not much of one. But there was some semblance of one. And Tony and I typically record...
The way you said that sound like this is your second marriage.
Oh, really? No.
Being married, yeah.
Oh, really? I don't think so. I just said I had a dating life before I got married.
You said previously married.
I said previously before I was married. Well,
we'll review the tapes, bud. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Before I was married, previously.
Your dating life.
My dating life. I would have a date scheduled to be set up or whatever. And then she had agreed to it the night before, as typical. The date's about to happen in 30 minutes. And then I get a text saying, sorry, can't make it. Other plans came up. And then here comes the Tone Bone Wednesday morning, 5:15 a.m. Says, the night before, text me, you bet your butt I'll be there. Less than 12 hours later, I get the text saying, hey, bud, we need to reschedule. I can't make it today.
Yeah, but unlike those other, I was going to say a bad word, unlike those other young ladies back in Washington, D.C.
Those females.
I came through for you, bud.
You did come through. Yeah.
I didn't just leave you. I felt the connection. I didn't just leave you hanging.
Mm-hmm.
It's a day late, doll hair short, but we're here.
We're here. We're back. Yeah. How are you doing? You told me you adopted a dog.
Yeah. Apparently Texas is really big on just leaving dogs on the side of the road. So we picked up a new puppy.
Did the puppy have a collar?
No collar.
No collar.
She had fleas and all kinds of stuff. Her face was all messed up from just looked like, I don't know, got into a fight with something. But she's warm. She's bathed. No fleas now. She's just the cutest thing, I guess.
Yeah, you got the pup right there. Who decided the name?
Oh, my daughter. Her name is Peaches.
Peaches.
Yeah, she's groggy. Look how sleepy she is.
So, lots of doggy style going on at your house.
Oh, yeah. Peaches isn't the only one.
Actually, speaking of that, I found video footage of you and your wife.
Uh-oh. You hacked my phone.
Corralling.
Oh.
I mean, it's not you guys, but maybe it is.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. See, I got two issues with this.
What's this? You have two issues with this?
I got two issues.
You got 5 seconds.
Yeah, there's no way I would be jackhammering that hard. Okay, I'm already out of breath. Three strokes in, I'm done. I got Iron Man Gorilla over there. No way I'm lasting that long. That's stud.
Just do it in front of all this audience. Captivating the audience. Oh, that's hilarious.
I wonder how Paul Allen's going to think about that. I think about that when you have me on. You have these, like, you know, pretty big name. You have Brad Johnson, Paul Allen, some of these just big names in Vikings history. Talking their faith, talking Vikings history. And then you have me, and you're playing a video of a gorilla just pile driving.
Well, I try to fit the guest's needs.
And my need is a video of a gorilla pile driving, apparently.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Isn't that something that you enjoy?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm a married man.
Right.
I enjoy the passion.
Yeah, there's a lot of passion there. I just saw that video. And I'm like, this reminds me of Tony.
Well, awesome. I'm glad that reminds me of you.
Yeah. What also reminded me of you, Nick Sirianni, chatting it up with the Cleveland Browns fan base, or Philadelphia Eagles. It's a home game, so I don't even know who he was talking to. What was going on there with your coach?
So for context, yeah, he was chirping the Eagles fans. They did win against the Browns. A little bit of an ugly win, but a win nonetheless. Apparently, throughout the game, there were chants of "fire Sirianni." They were just getting on him. And then at the end of the game, they had a 4-point lead. And then we're just, again, some of the play calls and the play selection late in the game is just like, what is going on here? So it ended up working out. They threw a bomb to A.J. Brown to just kind of seal the game, able to run out the clock. And he turned around and just started chirping the fans, at least what it looked like. I've read some reports and whatnot. Well, not reports, some Twitter comments that the fans specifically who he was chirping said, hey, he wasn't like yelling at us. It was more like, hey, I ran the ball or it worked out, we're good. So I don't know. Either way, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look for Sirianni. He shaved his head too, which just like made him look like even more of a psychopath.
Yeah. And then he brings his kid to the post-game press conference to soften up the media blows a little bit.
He came out a couple days ago after the game and was like, hey, I still got to be better. It doesn't look good. All the kind of like rational things after 24 hours of thinking about it. But still, it's just, you don't want to see that from your coach. And it's one thing if it's just like one of these little things that have happened. Like, even outside of kind of the game, some of the play calls and different things like that. Like, hey, it's, maybe he's not a great coach, but he's trying something. He's being aggressive. Didn't work out. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. But like, there's just multiple things now, kind of outside of the game, with like controlling his players and players having outbursts on the sidelines and him chirping fans and just like these little things where it's like, okay, well, kind of where there's, I know you hate this phrase, but where there's smoke, there's fire. It's all being put together. Oh my, excuse me.
Well, one thing that is a common phrase in sports is the players and organization reflects the attitude and the personality of the head coach. And to me, the vibe that you're sending me from El Paso, Texas, is that you're a little bit over this goober head coach that you have.
It would be winning cures all. So we're winning-ish.
Yeah.
We have, the past, 10, 12 games now, we're under 500. Before that, we had the 10-1 start last year. We're less than a year and a half, or about a year and a half removed from a Super Bowl appearance. I had a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl. So I still think there's that, but the further that we get removed from that, then it's, you kind of lose your leeway there. I mean, it's the same thing with the Eagles with Doug Peterson. He won the Super Bowl, so that buys you a lot of leeway, especially in Philly. It's his first Super Bowl, all the years of torment, all that stuff. But at some point, you got to kind of nut up or shut up, and like they need to play well. They're in the middle of a stretch now of 4 games that I think they should be winning these next 4 games pretty handily. They play the Bengals. Excuse me. They play the Bengals not next week, not this coming up week, but the week after. So that should be a good game as far as just Bengals have a really solid offense. But you should have crushed the Browns. You should beat the Giants.
Does that concern you because they didn't crush the Browns?
A little bit. Yeah. Like they got the win. I know they finally got A.J. Brown back. They got Devontae Smith back. They got Lane Johnson back. Jackson. But I would have liked to seen a 40 burger dropped. I would have
Yeah.
liked to seen a 21-point win, 3-possession win, something like that. Not kind of eking it out, which,
Right.
Brown's got a blocked field goal return for a touchdown, so kind of a fluky play. So you take that off the board, it's a 2-score win. But yeah, we'll see.
Colin Cowherd had this to say about your head coach Nick Sirianni on his Volume platform, where he hosts a podcast, kind of manages the whole thing. Let's just take a listen to what he had to say.
Sirianni, knowing he's on the hot seat, knowing that his sort of demeanor has been dubbed juvenile, comes in, shaves his head, at one point yelling at fans. To me, it's just, bro, you're the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. It just feels like he doesn't have a self-awareness. I feel like Nick sometimes doesn't get it.
Yeah, to me, I don't know if there's a wager you can place with our friends at DraftKings, but I think he's a borderline lock to not be the head coach of the Eagles in 2025.
Yeah.
And that's not making a prediction. They're missing the playoffs, making the playoffs. He will not be the coach next year. Him screaming at the fans. In what world, in a game that you barely just beat, it'd be one thing if he was kicking ass and they're still chanting fire Sirianni. I would get it. It's bro, let's cool our jets here.
So your thoughts on Colin Cowherd and John, I think is his name, reacting to Nick Sirianni and his outburst on the sidelines?
That wasn't John. I think that was Jason Sobel. That looked like Jason Sobel. No, I mean, it's exactly what I just said. You're the coach of the Eagles.
I just said this, right there.
Yeah. You just skip right over that, but you just played. You could have just replayed my portion. No, it's
maybe Colin Cowherd should have you on his show. Tony LaBarbera and Colin Cowherd.
Cowherd pile drives Tony LaBarbera.
Bend over, Tony.
That might do some views. That might do some numbers. No, it's just you have to be better. You're not only the coach of you're a head coach in the NFL. You got to kind of have the Belichick mindset a little bit of all right, just do your job, move on.
Right.
It comes with the territory. Whether it's Philly's obviously a passionate fan base. Millie can attest to that
For sure.
But whether it's the coach of the Eagles or the Jaguars or the Panthers, you're a head coach in the NFL. You got to kind of act like it.
How do you say Jaguars?
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Bars.
You have the craziest, weirdest pronunciations I think I've ever seen. Washer. Jaguars.
It's just from where I was born, where I was raised.
Where were you born and raised? You're kind of raised everywhere.
Frederick, Maryland.
Frederick. What's up with you Marylanders?
Yeah. Same thing with you Minnesotians.
Minnesotans.
You go Tony.
Why aren't you a Baltimore Ravens fan or a Washington Commanders fan?
So the Ravens weren't around when I was born.
The Baltimore Colts.
The Baltimore Colts had abandoned ship on the Mayflower.
Jack.
I love Johnny Unitas floats to the bottom of the Atlantic.
The diamond.
The horse the horse mascots just sitting on the boat. No, they weren't around when I was born, and my dad's a big Redskins Commanders fan, but I was an Eagles fan. I grew up. My favorite player was Randall Cunningham.
Oh yeah,
so he's kind of what got me into football. And then, as dumb as it sounds too, yeah, it still is. But my favorite color when I was a kid was green. So I was like, okay, the Eagles, the Jets, a little bit of the Packers, and then with Cunningham being my favorite player, I was like, all right, I'm gonna like the Eagles, and I've just stuck with the Eagles.
Stuck with the Eagles. That's why you're wearing a Seattle Sonics hat right now, because your favorite color is green.
No, I just like the old Sonics logo.
Yeah,
I'm a Magic fan in basketball because Anthony Hardaway was my favorite player. So then, Penny
Hardaway.
I am an Orioles fan though, so that's the one local team that
You're just all over the place.
I flock to.
You don't. I see you wearing your glasses. You know what I should do?
Look at your Hank Haney glasses.
These are blue light.
Oh yeah.
See that?
Look like Tony Stark glasses.
Tony Stark, Iron Man. Minnesota Vikings, they just had their bye week. And what's funny is that, like, I thought their bye week came at the perfect time, and I still think it did with all the injuries that they have acquired through the first 5 weeks of the year.
Doesn't the bye week always come at the perfect time, though?
That's so true.
No one's like, whew, this bye week. We really
This bye
could have
week
used
sucks.
it. Yeah. I guess, like, if you have the week 3 bye week,
Yeah.
that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Back in, like, the early 2000s.
I think week 4 is the earliest you can have for a bye week.
Yeah, it used to be back in the early 2000s, like they would give bye weeks week 1.
Week 1 bye week.
Yeah. you wait all summer, and then week 1 you get a bye. Those 4 preseason games were rough on us.
Yeah, I need a bye week. Yeah, it is a good point. The bye week does always come at a good time for every single team, but particularly the Vikings too. The Darnold had the injury, JJ had the injury, Aaron Jones had the injury, and now we're coming into this week with the Lions, and Lions don't have Aiden Hutchinson, but now Blake Cashman has turf toe. He's probably going to miss the game. Aaron Jones might miss the game with a hip injury. You're looking at some of our best players that might not even be available even after a week off from their London game. So that kind of stinks for the Vikings. But the Detroit Lions, did you see the video of Aiden Hutchinson's leg snapping against the Dallas Cowboys?
I did, and I saw him on the stretcher during the game. I didn't see it live.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it live either, but did you see like the Twitter will go make it like a slow instant replay break kind of thing?
They do like a super highlight cut of him snapping his leg. It's got like rap music behind it.
You can hear the break and everything. The snaps in half.
And then it just ends with him putting the thumbs up.
Caught off the field.
Being carted off.
Like there's some jokes there that we could share.
Oh yeah, we can. There's something there.
There's some.
we're just tickling the surface of it.
Oh yeah, we gotta break that down. He gets injured, breaks his leg.
We know somehow his cock will be involved.
All right.
Probably his balls. Somehow his wife's privates will be involved as well. What else?
You're a realist, and what you're saying is true.
You got a new drop.
Oh, add it to the soundboard.
Yeah, I put that on the subboard. That was from my Dalton Reisner interview last offseason.
That was good. I like that.
Yeah, thank you. I just figured anytime we could get dirty and start laughing, we can drop that one in there.
So, given that you still have a couple injuries coming up,
Yes.
playing probably the best team, definitely in the NFC, maybe the NFL as of, week 7.
Yeah.
If you exclude the Chiefs, but they haven't like looked super high powered, even though they're 5-0.
Right.
Like, how do you view this week then? Do you view it as, okay, we're missing a couple guys, so let's try to keep it close, but whatever happens, we're still 5-0, maybe 5-1? Are you in like full, we got to keep up in the division? Like, this is
It's tough, man.
game.
The Bears and Packers are 4-2, and they're the worst team in the division right now, because if you lose 1 or 2 games, this division could be flipped so easily on its head. And I view this as a big matchup because you could be 6-0 and have a little cushion. Oh, cushion. Going into the Rams game on Thursday Night Football at 6-0, the Lions are, they'll be 4-2. Bears and Packers, whatever they are after this weekend. So to be able to have a 2-game cushion going into an easier part of your schedule, I think is huge. And right now the Vikings are favored, I think they're favored by a point going into Dallas. Now I think they're favored by even more because Aiden Hutchinson isn't playing because of his leg injury. I mean, I don't know if it's that serious. I feel like you probably should just toughen it out, rub some dirt on it or something like that. So I don't know what they have in the water in Detroit, but it seems a little weak that he's missing this game because of a broken bone.
Get out there, son. Walk it
Back
off.
in the 1960s, you think we miss games because of a broken leg?
You think brain injuries caused us from not being out there for 4 more snaps? Walk it off. Remember Walk It Off? He just got his bell rung. Go walk it off. No, you just got a concussion and you have brain damage.
Everyone's so coddled these days. They get a little hangnail on their hand and they want to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. If this was hockey, he'd be out there. Listed as a lower body injury.
Beginning in skates. Beginning in fights. Little leg breaks, a little far from the heart. This guy has no heart. Give it to me, bud. You got something. You got something stored up in there.
I'm gonna keep it in.
You're nodding your head. You're nodding your head. You're building it up. I see you.
We're feeling this.
I can see it. I can see it.
Gears are turning.
I can see it clocking.
Smoke's coming out of my ears.
Come on, give it to me, bud.
All right, so moving on. So then, coming like Sunday evening, what's a good? Is it win or nothing? Like if you guys keep it close, or like what is it? What's a good measuring stick for the Minnesota Vikings? Because you guys, it's not like you guys are a weak 5-0. It's not like you've played bad teams.
Mm-hmm. Totally
5-0. Like you are a good 5-0 team.
I do think the Detroit Lions are the best team in the division right now.
Oh,
I'm going to say it. I think the Detroit Lions are the better NFC North team than the Minnesota Vikings are right now. I know we're 5-0, but what is record at this point of the season? I keep on going back to that same thought. Like, what does record mean at this point of the season? They're 5-0, phenomenal, right? Eagles were 10-1 last year. Big deal. Last 6 weeks of the season, they tanked. They sucked. So, like, they're 5-0. Lions are 4-1. Cool. But as long as you're not 1-4 or like 0-5 or even like 2-3, if you have a winning record, if you're 500 at this point of the season, anything can happen for the rest of the season. So, like, as long as you're in the game, as long as you're solidifying a playoff spot and you're peaking at the right time in the NFL season, I think that's more important than being 5-0. If you're peaking in December, early January, as you make a playoff run, I'd rather have that than be 5-0 and then just fluttering to the finish line like the Eagles did last year. So 5-0 is cool. It's an awesome start to the season. But I'm going to say over and over again that the Vikings haven't proven anything yet. It's a fun story. They still have 5 more divisional games to play. Sam Darnold's playing the best football of his career, and the Vikings defense looks like a top 3 defense in the NFL right now. But is this going to be maintainable throughout the course of the season? Schedule gets lighter, but you still have 5 tough divisional games left. So does it really get lighter? And the worst team in the division is right on the Vikings' heels. So that's my thoughts going into this Lions game. Obviously, you want to win the game. You don't root for them to lose. But if they lose this game, my thoughts go towards, okay, how are they going to play November and December? And if they lose this game against the Lions, is this going to create a free fall kind of feeling for the rest of the season?
Yeah, you go like you touched on it there, but it's prove it. Like the Lions have proved it over the last year and a half, even going back to the tail end of the 22 season.
Right.
Where they started playing some good ball. They played well last year. They made it to the NFC title game. And then they have the consistency with they have the same quarterback. They have the same, a lot of the same offensive personnel, defensive personnel. They didn't have like a huge turnover last year or anything like that. So they've been there before. They're in the process. I don't want to say they've done it before because they haven't really like done anything. They're like relatively new. They're relatively new to winning, but they've proven it more than this Vikings team.
Right.
This Vikings team is 5-0, but you got a new quarterback who has a history of not playing well. Mm-hmm. You've had a bit of some turnover and whatnot as far as bringing in Aaron Jones, all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, I would say it's a good story, all that, but yeah, let's wait till midway through the season, into end of November, December, how are you playing? I mean, shoot, 3-4 weeks ago, Bill Simmons said he was getting 99 Rams vibes from the 2-0 Saints.
Right.
And 4 weeks later, I think they're 2-4.
Yeah.
Giving up 1 million points.
Right. And I think there's these different stages of flukiness. Like the 1-0 Patriots defeated the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raiders
Good luck keeping that.
Ravens.
Yeah, that's a fluky win. Right. The 2-0 Saints. Okay. They made it past stage 1 of flukiness of being 1-0. They got to 2-0, but they didn't make it past stage 3 where they were able to continue that. So they're a fluke. And the Minnesota Vikings are kind of right now in that stage 4 or stage 5 of like, okay, is this maintainable? The Chiefs don't have to pass any tests right now. The Lions don't have to pass any tests. We know those teams are for real. But the Vikings, they still have to pass the test of flukiness just because of who their quarterback is and because of what their situation is. So that's kind of how I judge it and have a scale.
How many stages of flukiness do we have here? Let's run through this because you just said the 5-0 coming off their bye week, going into week 7, Vikings are in stage 5 of flukiness.
The stage the Minnesota Vikings are in right now is the is it maintainable stage of flukiness. Right? And then the next stage of flukiness is the end of season Philadelphia Eagles flukiness. Okay? You've maintained it. Now, can you hold on to it at the end of the season and continue that into the playoffs? Right? Are you just a regular season team and you're not built for the playoffs? Hard-nosed, rough and tough football, power package, extra linemen on the field.
Jumbo.
Right. So that's another stage of flukiness.
So we got a lot of stages at the beginning. Middle portion is a very long stage, and then what's at the end? Is it you have proved it? You're the world champion.
If you win a couple of playoff games, I think you've proven that you can play in the playoffs, right? Like the Lions didn't win the Super Bowl last year, but they've proven that they can make it to the NFC Championship game, and they were a second half collapse away from being in the Super Bowl. So I think that was a stage that they passed and are now like Super Bowl contenders. I think you can be a Super Bowl contender without winning the Super Bowl, and that's kind of the final stages.
Yeah, I guess you get the Lions have proved it over the last year and a half. They prove that they're a contender.
Yeah.
The Vikings from 2 years ago, where you were
13-4,
13 wins,
13-3. Yeah, 13-4 didn't exist.
You had 13 wins going into the playoffs, and then you get bounced in the first round
by the Giants.
Okay, this is everybody kind of not saw this coming, but
the writing was on the wall.
Yeah. It wasn't super shocking.
Right.
Whereas, I got
totally.
You.
So that's how I would state. That's how I would stage the flukiness.
The stages of flukiness.
Stages.
Are you gonna put that in the headline? The stages of flukiness.
Am I right? Colin Cowherd rips the Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. Gotta get that SEO in there, bud.
What are you gonna capitalize? Rips.
Craps on Philadelphia Eagles head coach.
Craps on / gorilla pile drives his wife. You get some hell of views there.
Colin Cowherd pile drives Tony LaBarbera.
While Monkey bangs his wife in the background.
Camera pants out. Got dogs doing doggy style, gorillas doing doggy style. Tony.
Tim, I am disappointed. I can't believe you didn't lead off the show with the Minnesota Lynx in the WNBA Finals.
Oh my gosh, I was watching the game last night. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
I was watching. I wasn't like pissed off. I don't get pissed off watching sporting events, but
glued to the TV.
I was glued to the TV. We were anticipating it. We're really into Survivor. We watched the Survivor series. Do you?
Oh, like wrestling?
No, like Survivor.
No, I know. There's a pay-per-view that wrestling is called the Survivor Series.
Oh yeah.
Just a little play on words there, but I knew you wouldn't get it, but
We'd get there eventually.
for the maybe one person that does get it that'll listen to this, that's for you. But no, we don't watch Survivor, but that's one of the like few reality TV shows that I could see myself getting into.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
That one and Amazing Race has always like looked good, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, those two are good. Anyway, the Lynx. Here, this is what pissed me off last night. Tie game, 77-77. The Lynx have a foul to give. And this is what I told my wife. I turned towards her. I said, honey, this is a problem. Because what happened was that they have their foul to give, and the defender fouls Sabrina with 10.9 seconds left in the game. It's like, that is a stupid time to give your foul to give. The reason why that is stupid is because then they can inbound the ball and set up the exact play that they were trying to set up in the first place. You foul with like 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock as long as they're not shooting the ball. Because then they got to do side out of bounds. They can't set up a play. It's basically passing the ball, take a couple dribbles, and shoot it. There's no play design once the ball is inbounded. The play design happens before the ball is even inbounded when you're trying to free up a player. But once you get the ball, you just got to make a play happen by yourself. And she fouls with 10 seconds left. So they get the ball, and she can dribble, set up what she wants to do whatever she wants to do on the court. And she gets a wide open three because not only did she foul too early, but then she tries to go for a steal. She crosses her over and has like 2 or 3 feet of space. So it was just a defensive collapse down the stretch by the Minnesota Lynx.
Do you think that was the design play call, though? A step back logo, 35-footer?
That's a tough shot.
I mean, Sabrina Ionescu is like a beast. She's one of the best players in the WNBA. She, great college career, all that stuff. But I don't necessarily know if that was the designed play.
Right. I mean, it's a tough shot, and she made it.
Yeah.
And she just missed a 3 beforehand. So it's like, I mean, if you told me that they're going to shoot a 35-footer to win the game, it's like, okay, give it to them. But at the same time, things before that play could have been different from the Lynx defensively because it might have even been a tougher shot if they didn't foul earlier on in the game clock. So that was my reaction to that final play.
It's not over. It's been a good series.
It has been a good series. I think it's over. Even after the Lynx won game 1, I thought it was over. I mean, serious.
Classic
even after the Lynx won game 1,
Minnesota sports fan.
And the reason why I thought that is because you look at the two teams and you look at the Liberty and you look at the Lynx.
I just picture you like, buzzer sounds, everyone's celebrating. Damn it, we lost. I mean, we won. I knew they should have lost. They had that one opportunity where if they just didn't make that bucket, they could have lost the game. They shouldn't have won this game. It's the WNBA Finals. Huh? Why would you try to win?
Oh, you're saying that's my reaction after game 1?
Duh, bud. That's what I just said.
You're kind of all over the place.
Oh, come on.
But anyways, you look at the two teams and you look at the size advantage that the Liberty have. And it's not even close. Like, their center is like 6'6" and just eat up our players for lunch. They got the Breanna Stewart. They got the Sabrina. They got way more talented players than the Lynx do. And the Lynx, they're a talented team. But
they got heart.
Right. They got the heart. They got a good coach. They got smart players. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about today?
I don't know. I think we covered it all. We're at the 40-minute mark.
Yeah.
Went a little long there, bud.
Well,
I like how we both tell our wives, yeah, it'll be like 15, 20 minutes. Tim usually does like a short podcast, and it's always...
Well, you and I would go back and forth. We touch on the world of sports.
The world of sport.
Are you going to show Hey Otani your wife later?
Oh, jackhammer it just inside the foul line. I lay
It's
the chalk line down. I'm like, oh, God. The pesky pole. Or Bush, just a green monster.
It's the foul pole that makes that loud noise. Like, dong.
My dick's rattling.
This is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the peak.
I lay down the suicide squeeze. Yeah. What?
Amanda your wife catches the ball, dude, throws it back.
She's the home team. There's another dick already in there on deck. my dick's got the weights on it. My balls are on second, getting a good lead off.
Trying to pick off the balls on second.
All right. We got there.
I'm the umpire and your balls are. No. Here we go. I'm the third base coach waving your balls in. Whoa.
My dick takes off its elbow pad and hands it to you.
Your dick doesn't listen to the third base coach and just routes it anyways.
Just blows by. Dick dives in head first. P-Rose style.
P-Rose. Oh. Wow.
Catcher standing in front of her pussy, and I just
you plow over the
blow him up.
You plow him over.
He drops my balls, and I'm safe. All right.
Oh, wow. There it is.
We got there.
That's what I needed. Just the build up. Whoever made it 40 minutes is having a good time now. Well, thanks, Tony. Appreciate your time.
Minnesota Tim, it's always a pleasure.